Right, after that very fun, deadly journey, let's go to Dragonus. Lord Captain, an urgent message. Our enforcers have arrested a dangerous saboteur who attempted to gain entry onto the bridge. This incident may be worthy of your attention. You see, both the saboteur and the circumstances of his capture are rather strange. You cannot tell if Vigidus sounds baffled or worried. Maybe both. I think it would be reasonable for Magos Pasqal to look at him as well. So, what is so unusual about the saboteur and the way he was captured? The thing is, Lord Captain, the saboteur is most definitely a tech priest. He found his way aboard the ship and penetrated all our security systems with staggering ease. Both his ability to communicate with machine spirits and the combat potential of his augmentations are extraordinary. Nevertheless, the enforcers managed to capture him. I also guess, story-wise, they're just trying to keep you in the Koronus Expanse and want to prevent that you go to the Imperium. During the arrest, the intruder, he offered no resistance at all. Instead, he asked for an audience with the Great Machine Spirit. When he realized that the enforcer had no idea what he was talking about, he asked to meet with you. I considered it necessary to apprise you of the situation. So I guess he's talking about Nomos. The infiltration of a rogue trader's ship is operated by authorized agency has cast doubts on my tech comrade's stability. If he's indeed my tech comrade, that is, regardless, I request permission to communicate with the captive. Very well, I will speak to him. Understood, Lord Captain. The saboteur will be brought to you. Well, let's see what the person wants from Nomos. Nomos, what are you doing? It sounds more like someone wants to see Nomos, right? Come on, game, load faster. The longest 100% of my life. The group of servitors, whose movement are suspiciously well synchronized, stares at the towering prisoner. You do not need to hear them speak to recognize Nomos, who has seen fit to attend the interrogation. The captured man, if he can be called that, looks positively gigantic next to the enforcers at his side. Deadly-looking metal gleams dimly beneath his faded crimson robes. His hands are folded obediently, and his mechadendrites are perfectly still. I greet the master of this Vestal Cathedral and offer my humble apologies for this unbidden intrusion. My apologies to you as well, brother. The interloper inclines his head in the direction of the frowning Pasqal. Then the prisoner turns slightly and looks straight at Nomos' observing servitors. And of course, I must beg forgiveness from you, gay spirit. It was not my intent to desecrate your temple. But what do you want? Before I accept your apologies, tell me who you are and why you infiltrated my ship. And how? My name, if it matters, is Asclepius, formerly a computator general of the Cognizant Fleet, now a liber recluse with the status of a Malatech. Malatech's exiles whose ideas have not crossed the line of heresy, yet have come close to it. They are removed from the fleet structure to give them a chance to see the folly of their ways, and prevent sedition from spreading. Sounds kinda dangerous. Pascal's voice sounds unusually alarmed. All of that is trivial. My past is nothing but a set of archive data. My lost status is part replacement string in the long chronicle of the Cognizance Fleet. I come not as a priesthood messenger, but as a faithful disciple of the most holy Armonard. Let the cycle be discontinued. My brother once served as the Engineer Prime on this ship. Asclepius gestures around him reverently. He was an adherent of the school of discontinuing the cycle, as am I. We still don't really know what that means. Heresy. It has spread that far. It is difficult to discern Pascal's emotions from his tone. I know that my brother perished, but before he did, he sent me a message that told of a journey embarked upon by Theodora von Valancius. A journey through a dimensional gate, an artifact more ancient than humanity itself, and toward unknown worlds. The blessed Armanat was with her. Oh! Interesting. Curious. And the first time we hear of it. There, upon the dark worlds, he witnessed a great miracle, the birth of a machine spirit of incalculable might. My brother believed that the spirit then fell asumber within the ship like a child in a cradle, not responding to lowly pleas. That was the purpose of my pilgrimage, to reach the ship where my brother didn't. The ship upon whose decks the blessed Armanat had walked, and prostrate myself before the great spirit. Interesting. So it seems that Nomos is actually a machine spirit. At least that seems like what they concluded back then. And it seems kind of fitting. Tell me more about Theodora's journey. My knowledge of it is scarce. My brother suspected that his memory, along with the memory of all who might have been there and known the details, had been purposefully modified. He saw it as a sign that the journey had revealed a great truth, and there were those who did not wish to see that truth brought to light. All that he conveyed to me was that Theodora had reached worlds unlike any of the people of the Koronus Expanse had ever seen. There, she unearthed a great treasure of technology, one that Armanat had the privilege of experiencing. What do you know about the Great Spirit? It is a great miracle, the omniscient breath meant to help us discontinue the cycle. It was born of the treasure that Armanat and Theodora discovered upon the Dark Worlds. Yet, even being so glorious needs attendants and guides. And as long as the Connaissance fleet is wrecked by schism, and my brothers and sisters suffer defeats without end, there's no one to aid the spirit. That is why I came here. Does the name Nomos mean anything to you? Nothing. He has not come to know us yet. He will, if you let him, Edward. We know, we sense, that his words are about us, that the story he has told is our story. What the heck are you, Nomos? Just an all-powerful machine spirit? You are strong, yet you let yourself be caught. I took a vow that I would never inflict physical harm upon lay people. The Omnisire grants us the power of the true flesh for a purpose other than damaging the frail and blind creatures that are all who have not yet tasted his knowledge. At least he's peaceful. So Armanat travelled on the ship? Yes, he did. My brother's words on this were clear. Years ago, Armanat was part of rogue trader Theodora's inner circle, before the ways departed. I have made my decision regarding your fate. Whatever it is, I will accept it. As will I. And yet I plead that my brother be shown leniency. His story, initialized thought. We ask you to keep him for us. Nomos servitors speak up suddenly, in the faintest of whispers. Your actions have caused no harm, and so I shall not harm you. You are free. You may stay on my ship, if you so choose. It would have been nicer to just ask us. I could not ask for more. All I wish is to remain in these halls and observe and reverence the Great Spirit's deeds. Let the cycle be discontinued. Nomos servitors turn their heads to you, and not all at once, in what can be interpreted as an expression of gratitude. Oh no. Let's see, talk to Nomos. Yeah, I just wanted to do that anyway. Nomos. The massive figure of the Melodic Adeptus is frozen before the cogitator in a praying pose. Without raising his head, he addresses you. I salute the ruler of this ship. You were in a servitor's body at my Magna Accessio, Nomos, so how is it that you are once again in a cogitator? Nomos are not in a cogitator, or in a servitor. We cannot say where we are, but our existence is tied to the existence of the ship, for now. The servitor and the cogitator are only external interfaces, like humans and their bodies. I don't think that works for humans like that. So, you really are the ship's spirit? Nomos was silent for a long time, as though mulling over your words. We do not know what we are, but the ship is not us. The ship is our cradle. We may rise from it one day. We would like that. It just gets more confusing. That doesn't sound like a machine spirit. But bodies are not merely shells. Maybe for Nomos it is. No, they are shells. The rasping voice sounds adamant. A human's existence is more than the existence of its shell. This is obvious to us. There's always something more, something that shimmers and shines, for which the dark light and wicked hunger are always reaching. Warp influence. Enough about that for now. Alright. I see you have found your great spirit, Eclepsius. I have found a miracle on the end of my world road. I've never seen and never will see anything more meaningful than the spirit of Nomos. In the face of its multitude, we hold nothing but the fixed values of an erroneous function. You read the databank recovered from Theodoros' cache, and then you said the incident marked the beginning of Nomos. What did you mean by that? Yes, Nomos, remember. You brought us data sustenance, and it contained a name, epitaph. We recognized it. No, not like that. In that name, we recognized the place where Nomos originates. Nomos suddenly falls silent. Symbols race chaotically across the screens of the huge cogitator, and hear an almost human groan comes from the depths of the machine. Nomos understand, realize, comprehend themselves. Do you know more about yourself now? For a moment, there's silence, broken only by the moans of the huge machine, and then the cyber begins to speak, and with it, the other servitors chosen by Nomos. We have analyzed the data of which you sated us, and we have recreated the sequence of events. First, there was Epitaph. It is a world, but it is merely a case, a container, something we cannot name and cannot understand. Theodora and this ship have been to that place. Something was lifted up from that world. A gift, a trusted priest in crimson, one who identified himself as Armanat. Comprehend the gift raised from Epitaph, and from it he created what the databank's list as attack blight. But that is not how Nomos came into being. We were not invented. We were not freed. We came into being by accident. Or the chorus of servitors sounds generally confused, almost desperate. Theodora's ambition, the mirrored mechanisms of the huge ship, Armanat's mind, the inquisitive attempts to comprehend and extract, the dormant blight, the dormant epitaph, what lies hidden in its depths, and between it all, we slipped in, connected, and emerged like an electrical discharge between the poles. Accident, incident, that is what we are. We have no purpose, no history, Nomos, just are. Oh, poor Nomos. When he saw what had been done, he knew at last the true nature of them and of the doom they had wrought in his name. Except from the Book of Mournful Night. I changed this quote to avoid spoilers. That sounds very curious, Alistair. Do you know where this epitaph is? The data is gone, deleted, erased, deliberately, but We cannot trace who did it or why. A tech blight. A gift, but a terrible one. You would call it a weapon. Theodora coveted it. She needed it desperately, but we do not know why. How's Amanat involved in this? He desired knowledge. Theodora allowed him to explore the gifts of epitaph, slaking his thirst. But we know it did not bring him happiness. In the footprints of a slaked thirst, fear followed. The blessed Amanat was involved in the birth of the spirit named Nomos. I do not believe for a moment that he could have been frightened by this miracle. I think what Nomos said more sounded like fear was the motivation for curiosity. Maybe he was looking for something specific. It was not us he feared. He did not know us, but only suspected. His mental processes were preoccupied by the tech blight. That was what he feared. He wanted protection from it. Which makes sense if you're part machine. The ship was an epitaph. Amanat traveled aboard it, investigating the tech blight, and Nomos was born as a result of the incident. So how was it possible that no one knew in the crew the whole truth? The truth was hidden, deliberately. The officer's memories were stolen, or the cogitator's memory banks were wiped. It took you feeding us the truth bit by bit, for us to piece it together and understand. But why would Theodora do that? Who has the resources, the knowledge and the power to accomplish such a feat? It would have been beyond the capabilities of the blessed Amanat himself, and he would never destroy knowledge. This story disturbs me. It sounds like an echo of the sacrilege whose name is preservation of ignorance. The spirit of Nomos must be protected from the encroachment of that power that tried to conceal the truth of its birth. I think it's Theodora, but the question is like, why? Enough about the past, let us talk about the future. You do, in fact, have a purpose, Nomos. Then, tell us, what is our purpose? Three options. Serve the light and truth and greatness that is the Imperium. To simply live comprehending yourself and the world, life does not need a purpose to justify itself. Or to be my servant, my blade, a force to be reckoned with by all. I would go for the first one, but I'm not that pre-Imperium actually. So yeah, I guess we go with the middle one. Yeah, it feels like the first one, of course, dogmatic, cause Imperium, and the middle one kind of the free spiritual one, so Iconoclast, and the last one Heretic. To simply live, comprehending yourself and the world. Life does not need a purpose to justify itself. To simply live. The chorus of servitors dutifully repeats your words, but seemingly without understanding them. Nomos is preoccupied. Huge Cogitator continues to sing its creaking song, running unknown calculations. Blessed be the spirit. A great path and a great future lie before it, and we must assist it on its way. Let's see what's going to come of Nomos. Like a very curious and interesting journey. Joe quote, Fabius studied the ancient being. How long have you been there? Longer than your race has possessed the ability to stand upright. You're mortal. I'm persistent. Isn't the infinite talking to the Fabius bile of the Emperor children? Well, I guess immortality is also to some degree persistence. Just want to see if we have new dialogue options with like Ulfar, for example.
Broke free the bow
We do.
from captors grasping. Dark cities, feeble dungeons, eternally disgracing. flows now this saga in the hall of glorious feasting, where all extol the wolf mighty and the yet fatter cunning.
Nice, more Viking ballads. And thanks so much for gifting sub, Mara-chan. Much appreciated. Thanks a lot.
I hope you're not going to put off the feast. Our escape demands a grand celebration.
Always in there for celebrations. What are you planning to do with your newly acquired freedom?
Find my pack. As we speak, they are likely performing some bloody service for Calcazar. For that reason, I want to have a word with the Inquisitor. Fenris Hjolda, et fatter.
Go along, Battle Maiden. Oh, what was it he called us?
What? I haven't...
Nothing new. Argenta.
Lord Captain, your presence is welcome. And I wish to apologize for my prior coldness. After our first meeting, I was concerned that he would turn out to be another faithless offshoot of the von Valancius dynasty, like the traitor Conrad. But now I see before me a worthy leader and servant of the Imperium. I am glad to accompany you in your endeavors.
Well, thank you, Argenta, but... Oh. And yeah, I love Ulfar's Viking speeches too. It's amazing. Space Wolves absolutely hate the Inquisition. They actually had a massive cold war with them and the Grey Knights. Ah, which makes... Yeah... like the Space Wolves are also here because of the Inquisition, as you might know. Because you played the game. So, makes that even more interesting what the Inquisition had to get them to move and do their bidding. Are you ready to tell me more about yourself now?
If such is the rogue trader's wish, although there isn't much I can tell, I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to know?
So, how did you become one of the Adeptus Astartes?
Become. It's such a strange word for it.
You always were one?
It seems right, but is that how one talks about their destiny? If you're asking about the path itself, that's easy enough to answer. First, like many other orphans, I endured the Sculoprogenium. Those years were rough, but I remember the hardship fondly. Few things can compare with the feeling of satisfaction from a past trial, even if it leaves your body aching from exhaustion, or your soul wincing in pain.
I mean, since we were successful in kind of softening Heinrix, I wonder if Argenta's also affected by that, because we always had like choices kind of being like more leaning into the being merciful, being kind, or being really dogmatic. The Grey Knights are a secret and mysterious chapter of Space Marines specifically tasked with combating the dangerous demonic entities of the warp and all those who wield the corrupt power of the Chaos Gods. Ooh. Interesting.
I was one of the best among my peers, and I was selected for the novitiate in the ranks of the Adeptus Astartes. When the hour came, I passed the trials and took my vows. The most joyous day of my life. The Emperor's light has always been with me, but to accept it with all your heart, to utter the oaths, that is a rapture like no other.
She's really into the Emperor. Have you ever wished for a different lot in life? I don't think so.
Have I ever... But that would be shameful weakness, almost heresy. Of course not. I was born for this. I live by the Emperor's will, and in his light, I myself am the light. I must be the light. For myself, and for those who ask for my protection.
Ah, no, I have Born This Way from Lady Gaga playing in my head. Thank you, Argenta.
I was chosen to serve. But beyond that, I won't deny it. Few things elate me as much as the thought that the heretic felled by my shot will never again orphan a child.
Dedication.
It is my pleasure to be candid.
And also, we can't talk with her again about killing Theodora. Oh, interesting. The Inquisition lost against the Space Wolves? Interesting. Do we have anyone else we can talk to? I mean, Jai's gone, so I guess not. Pasqal!
My apologies. 19% of my processing power is engaged in the analysis of my tech comrade's memory. My response time may be longer than usual.
90%. Pasqal raises his eyes from a data state connected to an augmetic. The augmetic used to be housed inside the skull of Tarsus, the tech priest who perished on your ship. Ah. The crazy one who wanted to kill Pasqal. So, have you found anything out?
The data is scarce. His identification code is the same as mine, and his memory contains data confirming that the assassination did take place. Unfortunately, some of his memory was damaged by pulses broadcast by his battle harness. I can assert with some confidence that he was who he claimed to be, and that he served the Adeptus Mechanicus earnestly and eagerly.
You know, he gave off the impression of a paranoid madman.
Notwithstanding his permanent state of agony, he was not cognitively dysfunctional. His desire to immediately destroy the object he had deemed profane was partly dictated by his engrammatic augmentics, which were receiving imperatives from his battle harness.
Yeah, in general, back then it already sounded very stupid to wear this battle harness at all.
In light of the oddness of our matching identification codes, I find merit in his hypothesis as to the existence of a clandestine malevolent agent or conspiracy operating inside our fraternity.
Are you not surprised that Armanard's words had such an effect on Opticon 2-2? Because, I mean, immediately stood down, right? And repeated the cycle must be discontinued.
I was not knowledgeable as to how popular Blessed Armanard's teaching was in explorator circles. The Cognizance fleet is massive. His ideas might have found a larger following on its periphery than in the Mother Squadron.
Perhaps you will be able to find out more. Let's ask about the assassination first. Who do you think was behind the assassination?
No data available. I will hypothesize that the assassination was instigated by an enemy of the Blessed Armanard's doctrine. I accept the possibility that the assassins were targeting me, only to be led astray by Tarsus and my own identical identifiers. I am concerned about the fate of Magos Armanard. According to Opticon 2-2, he went missing in the wake of the incident on an Arc Mechanicus, the Hermetico. Information about that ship and its perishing has been purged from the archives. I accept the possibility that the incident on the ship, the concealed data, and the assassination have all been part of a single conspiracy.
I mean, I would be very surprised if Armanard is still alive, given all that. Armanard was a believer, and he caused a schism. Tarsus was a believer, and he turned into a zealot. Faith can be dangerous.
Of course, faith is dangerous. Faith is the prerogative of the spirit, and a spiritless mind is an enemy of all existence. Without faith, there is no meaning in anything, no point to any aspirations or limitations. But faith can take different forms. The form of prohibitions established by unknown elders. The form of an audacious violation of those prohibitions. The form of following dogma or of schism. The form of following the cycle or of discontinuing the cycle. In a system with two courses of action, schism is inevitable. And only one of these paths will be true, as truth is discreetly separate from untruth.
Which is very dogmatic that just one path can be true. Oh well, I don't know if things are that easy. My faith is more than a mere set of rules. It consists of ideals, which sometimes come into conflict with dogma, and I've been given the gift of will to set the dogma straight.
The Omnissiah has bestowed upon us the supreme mission, the quest for knowledge.
Did he personally?
The fact of its existence confirms that reason is yet to comprehend and quantify the universe in its entirety. This precludes the existence of any prohibition that could be considered universally relevant. All limitations need their exceptions, yet exceptions belie the inviolability of prohibitions.
Your voice takes on a thoughtful tone, and its otherworldly might patters out. Well, perhaps you will be able to find out more.
I will continue my research into the Blessed Martyr's memory with all due reverence.
Let's see if we're going to find Armonot. I think so. I think that will be probably the conclusion of Pasqal's time. Have you studied Demon's neurodogmatic yet?
I have destroyed it.
Good. Pasqal stares at you inscrutably and says in a soft voice. Slight telltale rattle in Pasqal's voice makes him sound unconvincing. Why is everyone lying to me? Off my ship. You're lying.
This statement is true.
Great.
I am yet to settle into a definitive course of action. I am running a spot diagnostic on the memory of the heretic Demens, even though purity protocols stipulate that his blasphemous knowledge must be eradicated. I am not drawn toward forbidden information, but only to data concerning the blessed Amanats.
You just lied to me about it. Of course you're drawn to it. Have you found out anything yet?
The success has been partial. Demens Haneman's identity has been confirmed. The widespread influence of paranoid motivations is observable in his cognitive processes, which is what seems to have caused him to break his vows. However, extensive regions of his memory have been damaged by forbidden technologies and are, for now, defying decryption. My study of the minds of the tech comrades, Abel, Tarsus, and Demens, has revealed an anomalous similarity between the patterns of damage their memories sustained. What I attributed to cognitive idiosyncrasies, synaptic damage, and the distortive action of scrap code may be the result of a different kind of influence. The undecryptable data fragments in their memory arrays are mysteriously symmetrical.
Aha. Technical stuff. It's complicated. This is 40k. It's Game of Thrones and Grimdark steroids. I love it. So, any information on Archmagus Armonot?
The data discovered is unreadable. It is encrypted, albeit only partially, and I hypothesize that the heretic Demens was attempting to decrypt it. I will take every effort to extract a larger volume of data. Information pointing to the unit referred to as the Maimed Hunter is alleged to be of critical significance.
Couldn't Tarsus, or whatever he was called, be the Maimed Hunter? Because, I mean, he was wounded, and he was hunting for you, Pasqal. I mean, the question is Abelard a heretic, or not? Just a free thinker. Has it ever occurred to you that all these events may be part of, well, Abelard's plan?
That is a valid hypothesis, but not a very likely one. Its truth value is irrelevant, as it does not contradict the necessity of establishing the fate of Archmagus Amanat.
That's still something to consider when looking for him.
Response? Affirmative. The decryption will continue with diligence and caution.
Alright.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Alright. So... Dragonas, here we come. Where's Dragonas?